Good morning, everyone. Let me thank everybody for joining us here today. My name is Sean Ball. I'm the program manager for agriculture and agro-industrial development within the CARICOM Secretariat. I'm welcoming you to this virtual launch of Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2021 that has been hosted from the 4th of October to the 8th of October under the theme Transforming Our Food Systems. I am pleased to have you with us here today, Honorable Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister of Agriculture, Guyana, and also the chairman of the Special Ministerial Task Force on Food Production and Food Security within the CARICOM region. Also, we have Dr. Lloyd Dale, who is the acting director general for IICA, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture. Also, we have Dr. Julia Berdigue, who is the Assistant Director General for the Latin American and Caribbean region for the FAO. We have also Mr. Errington Thompson, who is the President of the Agriculture Alliance of the Caribbean, ACARI for short, which is our regional farmers organization. Mr. Ansari Hussein, who is Officer in Charge of Operations for CARDI. Dr. Renata Clark is also with us, who is the sub-officer in charge for the Caribbean region for the FAO. And definitely our audience who are here, I thank you and welcome you for being here. We have a pretty exciting program for today's launch. We're excited because we're feeling as we would say, feeling the breeze, we're feeling the excitement as it relates to agriculture, food systems, and food security within the region. It has become the topical issue, and the launch here today from the Caribbean of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture will be a testimony of the seriousness that the region places on agriculture and rural development, and by extension, the necessary involvement of our people in feeding ourselves. Without further ado, I'll move into our first item, which is an overview of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture that will be brought to us and presented by Mr. Joseph Cox, and he's the Assistant Secretary General for Trade and Economic Integration within the CARICOM Secretariat. ASG Cox.
Thank you very much, Sean. Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister of Agriculture, Guyana, Dr. Julio Antonio Verdegue, Assistant Director General, Latin America, Caribbean, FAO, Dr. Manuel Otero, Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture, Mr. Ignatius John, Chairman of the Board of Directors of CARDI, Mr. Errington Thompson, President of the Agricultural Alliance of the Caribbean, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all. It's my distinct honor to add my words of welcome to this launch of the 16th Caribbean Week of Agriculture, CWA, appropriately themed Transforming Our Food Systems. For me, it is extremely gratifying that we are at a stage where we can officially launch this event, where the acronym CWA took on a parallel meaning, and that is complete workaround. This meant that the entire business model had to be transformed, as we had to effect a strategic pivot to combat the challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. The 16th Caribbean Week of Agriculture, which will be held from October 4 through October 8, 2021, is historic, as it will be entirely virtual and is founded upon the establishment of strategic alliances and partnerships involving both the public and private sector and including the international development partner community. In that regard, ladies and gentlemen, the 16th CWA is not a CARICOM Secretariat idea. It's not an IICA idea. It's not an FAO idea. It's not a CARDI idea. It is everybody's idea. Although the theme for the 16th CWA is themed Transforming Our Food Systems, it functionally operates within two critical sub-themes. One, agriculture production resilience and sustainability, and two, food and nutrition security. In this regard, whereas COVID-19 has exposed areas of fragility in our regional food systems, including supply chain shocks, vulnerability to international price volatility, and input source supplies concentration. The pandemic has also created new market opportunities. In fact, there's an old adage which indicates a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And in this regard, I choose to view the incidence of COVID not as a market disruptor per se, but as an accelerant for change. For example, whereas as a community we have been talking about agricultural insurance for decades, the region is now reviewing a recent parametric insurance model that has been recently introduced in one of our member states. Opportunities abound, ladies and gentlemen. From the use of drones in agriculture in Belize, anchor farms in Jamaica, smart greenhouses in St. Lucia, to the use of the Agri Extension app, a pilot application designed for the farmers in Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Guyana, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines to ensure their access to remote agricultural extension services. A vibrant and engaged regional private sector underpins all these innovations, and the attendant investment occasioning an increase in productivity in agriculture. It is also buttressed by the political commitment offered by the 25 in 5 strategy, where the CARICOM heads of government have responded to a looming regional food insecurity vulnerability by setting as a target the reduction in our food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. This strategy was informed by data which revealed that the region imports approximately 5 billion US dollars in food annually, and if left up unabated, this will continue to climb with a potential of reaching 6 billion US dollars in a few years. These are all matters that will engage the estimated 100,000 persons who we reasonably expect to collectively benefit from the rich discourse on these topics by way of the 32 discrete seminars during the virtual showcase, while also being exposed to the exhibitions and virtual booths of more than 50 exhibitors. Exhibits will cover the many areas of agribusiness, from primary production, manufacturing, agrotourism, agricultural technology, agricultural education, retail, and distribution. The technical webinars will also include discussions on African swine fever, climate change, digital agriculture, livestock production, smart agriculture, finance, intra-regional trade opportunities, and the blue economy. This will be coupled with tantalizing tidbits such as live cooking demonstrations as we strategically seek to reintroduce the regional populace to not only indigenous foods and their preparation, but also introduce to all new techniques in preparing and presenting indigenous foods. We have decided to introduce this particular element as we have taken cognizance of the fact that with the cultural penetration occasioned by cable television and social media, entire generations are being socialized into the North American fare while remaining oblivious to the renowned fusion cuisine that is offered in the region. To avail yourselves of these offerings, we urge persons and potential exhibitors to register at cwa2021.caricom.org so that you can be part of this transformative experience. Registering on the website will take you to the 10X conference platform where you will complete your registration and from where the CWA will be live streamed. The platform allows for networking, participation in the conference, as well as the streaming of events during the week. It is worthy of note that with respect to the 16th CWA, there is also room for additional sponsors from any one of the 5 classes of sponsorship on offer, albeit whether it be platinum, diamond, gold, silver, or bronze. In this regard, please feel free to contact the team at the CWA Secretariat in the personage of Sir Sean Ball, your chair, with Cheryl Collins and Francola John. The 16th CWA will also see the introduction of a CARICOM Farmer of the Year Award and a CARICOM Youth Farmer of the Year Award. This as we strive to enhance the visibility of those unsung heroes of agriculture, whether it be male or female, who through innovation, stick to itiveness, and sheer grit have weathered the vagaries of climate change, predator therein pest and disease outbreaks, among other challenges, yet continue to produce. This is particularly poignant when one takes cognizance of the market dysfunction that has long characterized our regional agricultural sector. This ranges from market distortions, such as the dissonance that obtains, whereby farm gate prices are often low, but the prices to the consumer are often high and climbing, to scenarios where our regional farmers are unable to compete on an international scale because of market distorting subsidies that are brought to bear. Indeed, from time to time, our regional producers are forced to compete in a marketplace where their international competitor is pricing their offerings below the cost of production, given the market distorting subsidies, which we are unable to match given the state of our economies. In addition, these issues will form part of the discourse at CWA, as it is imperative that the region embraces e-agriculture as part of the solution and explore opportunities to move up the value chain, transitioning from being merely primary producers to food processors. The week's activities will end on a high note with a meeting of the powerful Council for Trade and Economic Development, quoted. At this juncture, we wish to express our sincere thanks to our key partners which have made the week possible and for the creativity for putting together this virtual format in line with our current circumstances. We thank in particular the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, the World Food Program, Caribbean Agribusiness Association, CariForum Intellectual Property and Innovation Project, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Caribbean Agriculture and Research Development Institute, the Caribbean Agriculture Health and Food Safety Agency, the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism, CRFM, Agricultural Alliance of the Caribbean, and the Government of Israel. As I conclude these remarks, I wish to leave a few additional general comments, though related, as a further deposit of goodwill as we count down to this regional week of dialogue. Drawing from a book that we launched a few short months ago titled The New Normal, a Post-COVID Primer for Business, the need for the strategic pivot of our business community, particularly the organization of our agricultural industry, is critical. This will entail the launching of new business models, highlighting the role of digital transformation in a people-centric new normal. This is particularly germane as across the region, informality accounts for 40 to 60% of GDP, a significant amount of which emanates from the agri-food sector. This, ladies and gentlemen, is actually the new normal for the region. The threat of COVID-19 will, in the not too distant future, abate. However, a new normal that is founded upon innovation, adoption, and optimization of new technologies to drive both product and price efficiency in agriculture is here to stay. We therefore look forward to welcoming you to this, the 16th installation of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture, where through strategic partnerships and a notion of enlightened self-interest, we will collectively be able to effect the type of transformation required as the agricultural sector pivots to embrace the new normal. I therefore urge you to remember as you navigate the offering of the 16th CWA, that knowledge is strength, but information is power. With those words, I thank you.
Thank you, ASG Joseph Cox. I think you have set the stage for the CWA, and also as we have our other presenters coming in. I'll now move to Dr. Lloyd Day, who is the interacting DG for ICA, to bring a few comments, and this will be followed by a message from Dr. Manuel Otero, who is the DG of ICA. Dr. Day.
Thanks, Sean. And protocols established. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. It's great to be with you today. The Caribbean Week of Agriculture is always one of my favorite events at ICA. I've been privileged to have attended a couple of those events, and they're always rich in discussion, rich in cuisine, rich in culture and dance, and just the life of the Caribbean. So we at ICA are honored to be partners with all of you in the 16th Caribbean Week of Agriculture. I like terminology, a complete workaround transforming our food systems. This has been one very unique year for all of us. We've had to deal with the global pandemic. Hopefully that will soon abate. We can see each other face to face in the near future. But I think it's also been a real success for all of you in terms of being able to cope with disasters, to stay healthy, to deal with all the challenges that COVID has brought us. But most important, to keep the food supply running. That's been something that we've all worked with you, with our colleagues at the FAO, and many others to ensure that the food supply chain stays stable and that good quality, healthy food reach the tables of all of our citizens. This has also been a year of a UN Food System Summit, in which ICA has worked very closely with our colleagues around the world to emphasize three important points. First, that farmers need to be a part of this discussion, that science needs to be the foundation of policy, and that agriculture needs to be viewed as part of the solution to our planetary challenges. And so the DG in his statement that follows may say some of those things, but I wanted to emphasize those as being very important. We're now in hurricane season, and we know that it hits the Caribbean region annually with a great ferocity. We at ICA are watching and standing ready to assist in any way to work on resilience as well as recovery. Our hearts go out to all those who have been suffering with earthquakes, with volcanic eruptions, with other weather events. We stand ready to help rebound, prepare, and to move on and to stay ahead of the game in terms of feeding your populations and growing our agricultural sector. I want to thank all of our partners involved in the CWA, and we look forward to another great Caribbean Week of Agriculture. So we'll move on to the video director. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. D. We'll now move into the video presentation.
The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, is extremely pleased to join the CARICOM Secretariat, FAO, CARDI, and other partners in hosting this 16th Caribbean Week of Agriculture, CWA. We at ICA, therefore, welcome the opportunity to participate in this virtual launch of the Caribbean's premier agriculture event, which is being held under the theme, Transforming Our Food Systems. This first virtual CWA is being convened at a time when the Caribbean region faces unprecedented challenges due to COVID-19 pandemic, climate-related extreme weather events, and emerging threats such as the African swine fever, among others. COVID has also accelerated the implementation of an e-agriculture regional strategy, which ICA is developing with the CARICOM Secretariat. It is also being held at a time when the global community is preparing for the United Nations Food Systems Summit, where the focus will be on the transformation of food systems towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal. Indeed, the CWA theme is directly related to this process. It is against this background that the CWA provides an important virtual space where all stakeholders in the agri-food sector can share information with each other and network towards addressing the most pressing challenges facing the agriculture and rural sector in the Caribbean. In an effort to contribute to constructive dialogue, ICA will be hosting a series of technical webinars during the CWA designed to offer information and practical solutions to addressing the challenges that confront the agriculture sector. Our webinars will focus on technologies for climate resilience, a call for action on the African swine fever, capturing new markets through market intelligence, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, and SME access to tourism markets, among other themes. The Institute will also support the coordination of the event and the hosting of the virtual marketplace where agribusiness operators will have an opportunity to showcase their products and services to regional and international public and buyers. In addition, AICA will coordinate meetings with important constituent members of the Alliance, targeting the effective participation of youth and women in agriculture. CWA 2021 is going to be an exciting event which will provide participants with useful information and serve as a platform for developing strategies to strengthen the agriculture and food systems in the Caribbean. I encourage all interested stakeholders to register early and participate actively in the CWA activities. It represents a unique opportunity to gather useful information and at the same time contribute to the development of solutions for transforming and strengthening the agri-food systems.
Thank you, His Excellency Dr. Otero. Sean has had some technical issues, so we'll now invite the Assistant Director of the Food and Agriculture Organization, Dr. Julio Antonio Berdegu, to make his remarks.
Thank you very much. I hope you can listen to me. I want to start by thanking, on behalf of FAO, the CARICOM Secretariat, for having us be part of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2021, as we have done in the past and will continue to do with great joy in the future. I also want to say hello and join our partners of IICA and CARDI. We've always worked together during CWAs, and is so important in present times to strengthen our partnerships and our collaboration. This is not the time to be acting alone in any important objective. And most important, of course, I want to thank the Ministers of Agriculture of the Caribbean, represented here by Honorable Minister Mustafa. You are our main constituency. You are the people that we need to serve, and serve every day more effectively. The theme of this year's Caribbean Week of Agriculture could not be more timely, more relevant, or more important. Transformation of food systems, or agri-food systems, as we prefer to say in FAO. Caribbean agri-food systems face many challenges. You all know this very well. The most important of all, probably, is climate change. Your countries did very little to contribute to creating this immense problem that is being faced by humanity. but you will suffer more than many other countries from around the world. Your people are among the most vulnerable populations to climate change. Your production losses are projected to be more than twice the production losses that other countries will face. And the number of people, or the proportion of people in your countries that will be affected by the consequences of climate change through natural hazards, is 3 times higher than in other countries. Water stress is already a very, very significant problem, but will be an even more important one with climate change. Already 7 out of 36 of the most water-stressed countries in the world are in the Caribbean. 40% of your territory suffers some degree of drought on a periodic basis. This challenge is only getting worse. A second challenge, of course, is food security. The very familiar issue of the food import bill always captures our attention. $5 billion worth of food import bill is the latest figure that I have at hand. Now, this level of food dependency creates enormous risks. You will remember that a few months ago, at the start of the pandemic, when we did not know if the food supply chains would hold or would crack. There were 2 or 3 months where we really were not very sure what would happen. And I remember the ministers and your head of government making all sorts of preparations and plans in case things turned for the worse. Fortunately, this time, the food supply chains did hold. And of course, your farmers, your producers contributed greatly to continue putting food on the table of all people in the Caribbean. But the risk is enormous. Do we want to continue taking this risk and having this risk in front of us when the next pandemic comes, where the next major crisis comes? This is something we need to deal with urgently. You know that better than me. And of course, we always speak of the food import bill at the macro level. But let's look at it at the level of a household. Healthy diets in the Caribbean are among the most expensive in the world. Almost $4.5 per person per day. That's a food bill of $6,555 per year for a family of 4 for a healthy diet. It's unaffordable to many people in the Caribbean. So huge import bill, but not leading to a healthy diet. So this is something that we also need to, of course, stress and tackle. And of course, these two, climate change and food security, are very structural issues with long and deep roots. On top of this, we now face the economic and social consequences of the pandemic. You know that for most countries in the Caribbean, the economic devastation caused by this crisis will continue to be present for the coming 2 or 3 or even more years. So we cannot deal with these big issues, with these big challenges in a piecemeal way. The special task force, ministerial task force created in the CARICOM that is chaired by the Honorable Minister Mustafa is very clear in its analysis. These issues are interconnected and interdependent, and they need to be addressed in a cohesive, coherent, and strategic way. This is why we talk about the transformation of agri-food systems in the Caribbean. It's not to fix little things here and there. It's to be able to deal with the major challenges, but also the huge opportunities in front of Caribbean agri-food systems if we are successful in tackling these issues, as I think we can be successful. FAO also wants to perhaps take a more integral approach to working with you. We want to be very loyal and very effective partners of the ministers and the ministries and your people. We're making considerable investments in the Caribbean, and these are growing. These have been growing now for several years. As of today, our projects are worth $63 million in the Caribbean. And our pipeline, already in advanced stages in the pipeline, will bring an additional $78 million. But we need to overcome a project-by-project approach. What we would like to do under the leadership of the ministers, under the guidance of the Special Ministerial Task Force, is to be able to take a much more strategic approach so that all of this work really contributes to the transformation of agri-food systems in the Caribbean. I hope we can continue to discuss these important issues in the coming days in the different workshops. My friend and colleague, Dr. Otero, has mentioned some of those that ICA has co-organized with you, with CARDI. We have also contributed to organizing some of them, but we really need to take the strategic view that the Special Task Force has been advocating in recent days. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much for those remarks, Dr. Berdegay. We now welcome Mr. Ignatius Jean, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, one of the partner agencies in the Caribbean Week of Agriculture.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to recognize the moderator of this morning's session, Mr. Sean Baugh, Program Manager, Agricultural and Agro-Industrial Development at the CARICOM Secretariat, Mr. Ambassador Joseph Cox, Assistant Secretary General, Trade and Economic Integration of the CARICOM Secretariat, His Excellency Dr. Manuel Otero, Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, His Excellency Dr. Julio Antonio Bedegue, Assistant Director General for Latin America and the Caribbean of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, Mr. Errington Thompson, President of the Agriculture Alliance of the Caribbean, the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister of Agriculture, Guyana. I am Ignatius Jean, the Chairman of the CARDI Board of Directors, and I have much pleasure in joining you this morning for the opening session of Caribbean Week of Agriculture. The Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, a secretariat member of the Alliance for Sustainable Development of Agriculture and the Rural Milieu, commonly referred to as the Alliance, is pleased to be associated with the planning and organizing of this 16th edition of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture. Since 1999, the CWA has been the premier event on the region's agriculture calendar, bringing together key decision makers and stakeholders from the public and private sectors to establish a common purpose towards repositioning agriculture and improving rural life. This year's theme, Transforming Our Food Systems, is indeed very relevant and timely, as the region's food supply chains and agriculture industries have been hard hit by COVID-19 pandemic. The resulting fallout from the crises have led to unemployment, price fluctuations, surplus produce, and a shifting in consumption patterns from perishable produce to highly processed foods, further disrupting an already fragile food system was the occurrence of several natural disasters across member states. Droughts in Belize, the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, floods in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago, and the recent earthquake in Haiti. This double crisis have impacted livelihoods, food, and nutrition security, and pushed already vulnerable families further into poverty. The Caribbean food systems are vulnerable. Regional stakeholders must urgently think or rethink the way we produce and consume food. Clearly, we cannot continue with the business as usual approach. In rebuilding and repositioning the sector, focus must be placed on improving productivity, access and availability to safe, nutritious food, climate proofing, preventing food wastage, harnessing digital technologies, and value-added product development, amongst other areas. Research and development underpin this transformation. CARDI is committed to providing the science-based solutions to lead this transformation and reposition the sector. Increased funding for research and development is therefore crucial. This, along with expanded collaborations amongst key players, inclusive of the private sector, will change our current trajectory. Together, we can work to build productive, sustainable, competitive, and resilient food systems. Like many publicly funded organizations, one limiting factor for CARDI's expansion is the availability of finance. Core finances from member governments have been effectively frozen for over 30 years, and the allocation of core resources for operations is therefore minimal. However, we must never lose sight of the critical importance that CARDI has played, is playing, and would continue to play in the current regional environment, and that the financing gap should never be an overriding factor in moving forward. I would wish that one of the outcomes of this Caribbean Week of Agriculture would be that the heads would need to be aware of what is taking place within CARDI. Our premier research institute is in dire need of a lifeline if we are to reposition our agriculture. CARDI's strategy to generate recurrent income to address the financing shortfalls include: 1, a portion of the profits, 40%, generated by the Caribbean Agricultural Commercial Services Hub, CASH, CARDI's commercial subsidiary, will accrue to the Institute to supplement core income. CASH is in its early operational stages, but will take advantage of the opportunities generated by technologies developed by CARDI for the market. 2, establishment of a CARDI Foundation, an endowment fund from which investment income would supplement core funding. And 3, improvement of CARDI's systems that would allow for the generation of administrative fees for the management of externally funded projects located in the region. The Resource Mobilization Unit will continue to be vigilant for the opportunities of this nature, as well as opportunities for core benefits from external projects. During the week, feedback sharing of experiences, and lessons learned from our diverse group of stakeholders will assist us in assessing our situation and help inform future actions that will benefit the Caribbean people. CARDI congratulates the CARICOM Secretariat on the successful launch of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2021, and we reaffirm our commitment to working with all stakeholders during the week and beyond to transform the region's food systems. Long live agriculture in the region. Long live the people of the Caribbean region. I thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Chairman Ignatius John from Cardi. That is definitely a very heartwarming and pointed presentation. We'll now move into Mr. Arrington Thompson, and he's the president of the Agricultural Alliance of the Caribbean. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Protocol having been established, I'd wish to say good afternoon. It is my great honor to represent and bring greetings on behalf of the many men and women who are involved in agriculture from the Caribbean region. I am delighted to make a few remarks on behalf of crop, poultry, and livestock farmers, including young people and disabled persons, fishers, processors, beekeepers, agribusiness persons, artisans, farmer organizations, and other primary producers. Today, we pledge our support to CARICOM, FAO, IECA, and CARDI to assist in every aspect of this joining. Call on us at the regional, national, and local levels. We stand with you. We are motivated because everyone is paying attention to food and nutrition security. The interest might be as a result of the underlying concern about the possible disruption in the food supply chain. However, no matter what the reason, the time for action is now. Many topics will be discussed during CWA 2021, but our primary producers look forward to the implementation or action phase when we will discuss access to data, access to land, access to markets, access to insurance, access to technology, access to training, access to incentives and benefits, and of course, access to funding. Access will allow us to adapt and mitigate the issues related to climate change and to solve the problems of predatory larceny, income inequality, and pensions or retirement benefits for primary producers. Above all, we require an enabling environment with adequate support to ensure the right to farm, ease of doing business, consistency of policies, and sustainability in all aspects of production. We are quite aware of the circumstances which have brought us to this inflection point. COVID-19 might have wreaked havoc on our health systems and devastated our economies. A ramping up of production in the agriculture sector can improve our health and our GDP. Let us expand our food banks and seed savings programs as we garner our collective forces to embrace food and nutrition security now? What if we consider expanding our niche markets? We can continue to deliver natural and organic foods, but more research can be done on our medicinal plants. The primary producers of our region are willing and able to stand with all stakeholders and contribute from that large reservoir of skills, expertise, experience, and knowledge. Involve us in the planning, production, and value chain. Our food insecurity problems will take time and an organized, systematic approach to resolve. So let's chat about transforming of our food systems, beginning with the foundation of data collection, moving through production, harvesting, and branding, to delivering delicious, healthy food with traceability at the table following a comprehensive food production plan. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And again, the message is heard, the direction is clear. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege of now introducing the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, who is the Minister of Agriculture for the member state of Guyana. But additionally, Minister serves as the chairman for the recently established Special Ministerial Task Force on Food Production and Food Security for the CARICOM region. And the MTF has been doing quite significant work, working with our partners and our stakeholders. Without further ado, I welcome the Honorable Minister to deliver his address.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shanbaugh, moderator of today's lunch, Mr. Joseph Cox, Assistant Secretary General, Trade and Economic Integration, CARICOM Secretariat, Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture, ICA, Assistant Director General, Latin America and the Caribbean of FAO, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute, President of the Agriculture Alliance of the Caribbean, sister member state, farmers, agri-manufacturers, students, and other stakeholders joining us online. Today is a very important day, and as I heard addresses, I am very heartening to know that we have once again restarted this very, very important activity. And today I have the distinct honor and pleasure of delivering the keynote address at today's launch of Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2021. I see this as a distinct honor for two reasons. First, the Caribbean Week of Agriculture will, for the very first time, be hosted as a virtual event. While the COVID-19 pandemic has rocked the globe and has served to postpone, cancel, or scale back important regional events, this event, while certainly of a different format to previous years, promises to be no less impactful and exciting. In fact, the virtual format has the potential of reaching a much wider audience, given that the need for costly travel would be virtually removed. And importantly, this format allows us for the exploration and embrace of emerging technologies in the area of information and communication technologies, a field that is increasingly important for a modernizing and technology-driven regional agriculture sector. A very cursory review of the program of planned activities during this important CWA suggests the clear intent of showcasing the opportunities for practical technology-oriented solution. The virtual trade show and exhibition and the virtual marketplace stands out as beacon in this regard. And secondly, CWA 2021 marks the return of this important regional event for its longest absence on the regional calendar since its inception in 1999. Notwithstanding the obvious challenge posed by the pandemic, the fact that the CWA 2021 is being launched today is indicative of the commitment, determination, innovativeness, and the acknowledgement of the importance and the crucial role and place that agriculture occupies in this region, be it in the food and nutrition security or employment and income generation. The message is clear. Not even a pandemic will stop us from doing what is necessary for the advancement of regional agriculture. Today, Guyana currently holds the lead responsibility for agriculture, agriculture diversification, and food security in CARICOM. And our President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, in February this year, presented to CARICOM heads of government the paper entitled Advancing the CARICOM Agri-Food System Agenda, Prioritizing Regional Food and Nutrition Security, unquote, for transforming the agriculture sector in the CARICOM. Based on this presentation and based on the acceptance by CARICOM heads of government, a ministerial task force was eventually formed. As chair of the Special Ministerial Task Force on Food Production and Food Security, I assure you the theme of CWA 2021, Transforming Our Food System, is aligned with the thrust of the Special Ministerial Task Force, whose main objective is to provide guidance on the transformation of the agri-food system that is resilient, provides attractive and sustainable wealth creation opportunities for potential investors, and guarantees food and nutrition security for the region. We recognize that this desirous transformation of the regional agri-food system towards full commercialization requires the active participation of the regional private sector. In this regard, the Special Ministerial Task Force collaborates closely with the CARICOM private sector organization, an associate institution of the Caribbean community invited by the conference heads of government to engage in a formal and structured manner with the organs of the Caribbean community in an effort to secure the full implementation of the CARICOM single market and economy. We consider this collaboration to be very crucial, and the Ministerial Task Force has committed to support the Caribbean private sector organization in its efforts to develop and target regional investments and interregional trade in the identified priorities commodities of poultry and niche vegetables in the immediate term, and to give special attention to other strategic commodities in the near to medium term, same being corn, soya, rice, meat, which include beef, sheep and goat, and coconuts. Guyana believes in leading by example. So in 2021, the government of Guyana has allocated an initial $500 million to commence infrastructural work in the area earmarked for the cultivation of 125 acres of corn and 125 acres of soya beans, being by a consortium of local private sector. Over the last month, the Special Ministerial Task Force has been very proactive in initiating dialogues with the regional and strategic entities and the subject particularly of the de-risking of the regional agriculture sector. In this regard, the Ministerial Task Force has received presentation on two areas. Firstly, a possible agricultural insurance product for the region by a regional company pioneering such a product in a member state and outlining the elements for the establishment of a regional agricultural insurance product. This is very, very critical for us in the Caribbean, for us to implement and ensure that farmers are targeted so that the losses and the vulnerability of this region we can address. Secondly, a proposed sustainable Caribbean finance facility for the establishment of a $10 billion sustainable financing facility for the Caribbean to support agricultural investment by 2035. I am very pleased to report as chair of this ministerial task force that a subcommittee is currently being established specifically to address opportunities for establishing a similar agricultural insurance product on a regional scale and for advancing the proposal for the Sustainable Caribbean Finance Facility. Developments on these two areas will be highlighted in greater details in a report from the Ministerial Task Force during the COTEC ministerial meeting. Finally, it would be remiss of me if I did not acknowledge the stalwart effort led by the CARICOM Secretariat in planning this major event, but supported equally energetically by the Planning Committee and its various subcommittees comprising of regional stakeholders. Many of these agencies are participating in this launch today, and therefore I take this opportunity of commending you for your continued support and the invaluable resources you have dedicated to ensure the success of CWA 2021. I wish you continued success in your planning efforts leading up to the actual week of event, and now declare CWA 2021 officially launched. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think it's clear, based on what we have heard today, certainly from you and the other presenters, that agriculture is alive and well in the Caribbean. And let me say it again, agriculture is alive and well in the Caribbean. And the CWA and this launch here today has proved that. And as was said by everybody else, we invite you to join us, be a part of CWA 2021. As I was quoted before, it is a game changer. This is the path that we're on. This is development that we seek in achieving food security and feeding ourselves. We'll move directly into our next presentation, which is a farmer's anthem that has been developed in response to COVID-19. And I think it's a fitting and thrilling video presentation that we can share with the region that strengthens our resolve, demonstrates our willingness and conviction to the agricultural sector within the region, and certainly the support for our farmers and our stakeholders. We move now into our presentation.
Plant your food. Plant to seed. Watch it grow. Watch it
grow to feed us tomorrow.
Till the soil
and you cultivate your health. Cultivate communities and you cultivate yourself. When cultivation at the root of we culture, man, we ain't gonna worry about too much else. Look how long we trying to tell them that cultivating greens is the way to the nation's wealth.
Children.
Thank you. It's a beautiful anthem. It's a beautiful song. It's fitting the way it ended. The children are the future. I just want to say thank you to our audience who are on Facebook. I have Shira, Shiraz Khan saying, if ever that agriculture have to be taken, focus on the region, and the agenda has to be now. Christopher Chinapo says, a good call for greater access and for improved sustained action. We're seeing Adele also commenting, saying that important event for the region at this time to address challenges for our food systems. It says to us that our people are listening, they're hearing, they're supporting, and we're letting them know that we're here working and delivering on behalf of them. And again, we ask members of the region, members of the public, the international community to join us. Join us with our partners here from October 4th to the 8th as we celebrate Caribbean Week of Agriculture. In closing, I want to thank our partners who are on board. AICA, FAO, CARD, CRFM, World Food Program, CAFSA, and others. This could not take place without the support that is being given from our partners. And as we move into the next phase, as the ASG had said before, please visit our website, which is cwa2021.carigom.org. And the official platform, conference platform, is 10X Events. And all events will be streamed live and take place from that platform. We look forward to see you. We thank our main presenters today, Honorable Minister, Honorable ADG, Honorable DG, President from Akari. Thank you very much. ASG, of course. We look forward to a great week within just under a month's time. Thank you much, everybody. Have a beautiful day, and thank you.